A quiet table. I'd had the corner an hour before he came in. They build these places the same in every desert that's ever existed. Bottles behind the bar, a piano nobody can play, and always the one table where the light's bad enough to be honest in. I took that one. I saved it for him, though he didn't know it yet, and I wasn't going to be the one to tell him. He stopped in the doorway, hand not quite away from his coat, the sort of man who never asked for company, which is exactly how I knew which one of all the dusty ghosts in that room was him.
I didn't ask for company.
No, I said. You're the sort who never does. That's how I knew which one was you. I knocked the second chair out with my boot. Sit. Not selling anything, not buying anything. Far too old to be a threat to a man who walks in expecting one. Sit down before the heat finishes this drink off. He ran the arithmetic on me the way a man checks a room for exits. Harmless, strange, no angle he could find. And then against every instinct he had, he sat. That alone should tell you something about him. He didn't sit for people.
Nobody out here shares a table for nothing.
People? No, I'm not people. Just a man who's done a great deal of traveling and likes the look of someone who's done the same. I let it sit. What do they call you? I already knew. I'd known it longer than he had known the man who shot him, the chip he carried, the world that was taken from him, and the god he'd one day put in the ground a long way from that saloon. I knew the whole of him, every page, and I sat there in the bad light and asked him his name like I was meeting a stranger off the sand.
The courier.
That's a job title. I mean, the upstanding gentleman that carries the packages. What do I call you? A beat. He shouldn't have answered, he did.
Revan.
Revan. I said like I was hearing it for the first time. Good name. Sounds like it belongs to someone. It did. It belonged to someone enormous. I didn't tell him that either. And then he did the thing he doesn't do. He kept talking.
Don't know why I told you that? I don't tell people things. Package in a hand, caps in my pocket, gone, that's the job and that's me. But you sat down and it's like I'm picking up a conversation I don't remember starting. Have we met?
No, I said, and it was true. And it was the cruelest true thing in the room. Not in any way that'd help you.
That's a strange way to answer no.
I'm a strange man. I turned the glass. Tell me what's left of you. I'd like to know. And small miracle, the kind I've stopped expecting, he told me.
Not much, and I'll keep it short. I know my name. I know my work. I know a man in a checkered suit put a bullet in my head and a shovel of dirt on my face. I know I was carrying a chip, platinum, small, worth 2 bullets in a hole, and I know I dug myself out of that hole with my own hands. That's the list. Everything before it's gone. Everything I am, I've had about a month.
I could have filled every silence in that list. I had all of it, sitting just behind my teeth. That's more than some men ever get, I said.
It's nothing. A name, a job, and a grudge.
It's a name, a purpose, an enemy, something worth dying for, and proof you don't stay dead. I've known kings with less, Revan, and they knew it. He turned the glass without drinking. When he spoke again, it wasn't like a man describing a miracle. It was like a man describing a symptom.
Since you asked, there's the other thing. A round like that ends a man. I've put one in a head myself. I know what it does. It didn't end me. That's not luck. Luck runs out. This is something else, and I'm the only one it happens to. And I hate machines. Can't tell you why. The thing that dug me up, I had it on the ground before I decided to move. My hands knew something I didn't. Whole lot of me knows things I don't.
That happens to people more than you'd think, I said, carefully, giving him nothing past the door.
To who?
I drank instead of answering. Some questions you can only refuse with your hands.
There's a crack in a wall back in Goodsprings. Doc Mitchell's place. The man who pulled the bullet. I stood and stared at it like a fool. Couldn't tell you how long. Felt like it was saying something. Not to me, past me, to whoever I used to be. Then it was just a crack in an old man's wall, and I felt stupid for staring.
And there it was. Of all the things he could have laid on that table, a crack in a wall. I'd like to tell you I stayed clever. I didn't. Everything bright in me went out at once, and the young face I was wearing held every year I actually am. I know cracks. I know them better than anything in this universe, or the one waiting behind it. For one breath, I was nearer to breaking my own rule than I have ever been at a table. I wasn't allowed to break it at. A crack in a wall, I said.
You've gone pale, Doctor.
Have I? I set it down. All of it? unspoken. I know about cracks more than I'd like. Leave that one be, Revan. It's patient. It'll be there when you're meant to find it. That's when he stopped being polite about it. The want came up in him, plain and hard, and I didn't blame him for a second of it.
That's the third time you've done that. You talk like you've read the last page of a book I haven't opened. The grave, the machines, the wall, you know what they are. I read people for a living, and you're the easiest face I've ever sat across from. You know what's wrong with me.
I won't lie to him. I never lied to him. Yes, it landed on him like a blow and a hope in the same instant.
Then tell me. Plain. I've got 5 facts and a hole where a life should be, and you're sitting on the rest of me like it's yours. I'm asking you straight. What am I?
This is the part that cost me, because I could have. Every word of it was right there. Instead, I gave him the only thing I was allowed and stopped dead on the line where I had to stop. I can't. Not won't. Can't. Not the way you want it. But I'll give you the part I'm allowed, and it's worth more than the answer, even if it won't feel like it tonight. I leaned in and let the whimsy fall off me because he'd earned the thing underneath. Everything you've found is real. The grave. The machines. The wall, the getting back up. None of it's a glitch and none of it's a curse. And you are not broken, Revan. Every strange thing in you points the same way. There's a shape to it. There's a reason.
Then give me the reason.
No. And hear why. Because it's the only gift I've got that's worth your while. The truth is real, and it's waiting, and when the universe decides you're ready, when your road comes all the way to the top of itself, and not one step before, it'll come to you. You won't have to dig for it, it'll arrive. Your path is not for nothing, Revan, not 1 mile of it. And softer, because this was the true thing. The man across this table hates machines, stares at walls, won't stay buried, and still lets a stranger sit down. That's the man you were meant to be. I'd not insult him by handing him the answer out of turn. It would ruin him. Skip to the last page tonight, and you ruin the good man you're on your way to being. I'd sooner take my own hand off. You wanted to be angry. Couldn't quite get there.
That's not an answer.
No. It's better than one. An answer ends a man. Hope keeps him walking. I gave him the small smile, the sad one. And you've a long way left to walk. I stood. The energy came back on like a coat going over my shoulders, but I couldn't get my eyes to follow it. I set a small stack of caps on the table, and where a man like me came by. Mojave caps is nobody's business but mine. Drinks on the strange man.
Will I see you again?
The hardest question in the room. And he asked it like it was nothing. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe one day you'll half remember a saloon and a fool in a bow tie and never work out why it sits so warm. I settled the hat, and I tipped it to him. Look after yourself, Revan, especially the parts that don't make sense yet. They're the best of you. You just can't read them tonight. At the door I turned, half of me already in the dark.
You turn out all right, better than all right. I'd not have crossed a desert for less.
And I left him there. A man with 5 facts, a paid tab, and no idea on this earth that he just shared a drink with the only other living soul who knew his whole name. I'd remember it. He wouldn't. That's the part I carried out the door with me. Hey, there was one more thing I had to see. With my own eyes. Nothing in any universe was going to stand between me and it. I walked past old Lady Gibson without a word. Past the dogs, and they lifted their heads. And for once they didn't bark. They only watched me go, the way animals watch weather coming in. I didn't see them. I didn't see any of it. Into the scrapyard. Through the canyons of rust, the dead cars, and the deader machines. The bones of a world that ended without the courtesy to tidy up after itself. I knew the way without knowing how. I always do. All the way to the back. Off the path. Tucked where no one would ever look, unless they already knew, unless they were always going to. And there she was. My old girl. Beat to hell. Charred down one whole side. Streaked black with the soot of an explosion that didn't just take a ship, it took a universe, and then handed it back. The blue gone grey where the fire had licked her, the lamp on top dark, sitting in the Mojave dust like something a tide left behind 1 billion years ago and never came back for. The girl who burned herself down to nothing so everything else could begin again. I couldn't do the thing I do. Couldn't quip. Couldn't ramble. Couldn't fill the air. I just looked. I'll be, I said, when I could. So it's true. You really are here. A breath, out in the sand, waiting. And the next part cost me. And I said it anyway. Soft as anything. For him. Not for me. Him. And I stood there a long, long time.
Long enough to remember. The console warm under my hands. Her hum in the dark. Every impossible place she dropped me, and every worse one she dragged me out of. The night she went up like a sun to stitch the cracks in creation shut. The night I thought I'd lost her. Before a girl who waited remembered me home and handed me back a version of her, gleaming and new. I told myself that was the end of it. That the one who died was gone, and the one I fly now was enough. A man tells himself a great many things to keep walking.
But here's the truth of her. Sitting in the dirt where they'd buried a man who wouldn't stay buried. The one who actually paid the price never came back to me at all. She dragged herself to the edge of a dead world, scarred and silent. And she chose to wait. Not for the man who flew her halfway across forever. For a hollowed-out courier with 5 facts and a hole where his life should be. For the man that man is going to become. She picked her champion the way she's always picked everything. Better than I ever did. And without asking, I went looking in myself for the jealousy. The way I go looking for everything. I didn't find it. I found something quieter and harder to carry. I was proud of her. The way you're proud of someone who outgrew needing you and was right to. I laid one hand flat against the scorched wood, the way I've done 10,000 times. And for just a second, just one, the dark lamp stirred. A flicker. The faintest warmth, there and gone, like an old dog too tired to lift its head, managing a single thump of its tail. She knew me. She'll always know me, but she didn't open for me. She isn't mine to open anymore. Look after him, old girl, I told her. He needs all the help he can get. And I laughed soft. And apparently he's got a god of deletion to smite down before the end. A god. I shook my head, wonder and ache in the same motion. Wish I could have been there to see that, I really do. I patted the wood once, stepped back, turned for the dark and my own road and a story that was never mine to finish. I almost made it, one step from the edge of the scrap. I stopped, turned back, looked at her one last time. And the jaunty thing climbed back up over the grief the way it always does. Because it has to. One more for the road then. And I grinned at her, the daft, brilliant, heartbroken grin. Geronimo. I winked. I tipped my hat. And I left her to her waiting. Behind me, 2 things sat in the same desert, under the same indifferent stars. A man who didn't know what he was, nursing warm whiskey in a saloon, and the ship that would one day make him remember. Both of them patient. Both of them waiting on a future I'd just seen the shape of and would never get to watch arrive. I wouldn't have it any other way. Some stories you're only meant to pass through. You tip your hat, you wish them well, and you let them belong to someone else.
Geronimo, Doctor.